What up, what up? Dusty Boaz Henry. Boaz believing of the Alpha and the Omega, Z representing the Omega, the one and only true God, the Creator. Henry standing for high earning, not rich yet, but I'm still dusty. Even today, I'm still dusty. As you can see from my green screen not being used back there today. But long hair, don't care. I'm gonna be dusty with long hair, represent for all my brethren and sisterin that can't do it for themselves. Let me put a little shake on it. Let me put a little shake on it. Might want to get it to be done for Thanksgiving. Yeah, well, we'll see. That's neither here or there. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like, subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Turn the bell notifications on. Let's get into it. Dusty Boaz Henry, thank you for tuning in. Tonight I'm gonna do something a little different. Yeah, it's nighttime over here. And well, it's getting night earlier with the time change, but that's neither here or there. Today I want to do the book of Judges. I was thinking last night. Forgive me if I sound a little stuffed up. Nasals, the sinuses is trying to break me down. But the work still has to be done. We still have to fertilize this crop. We still have to go out here, do the work, plant the seed, spread the word. So even the nasal, I won't say infection, but even the sinus is acting up. Won't slow my dusty self down. But the other night I was thinking, what does a matriarchy look like in the Bible? And I did a little bit of studying. Again, I'm not a scholar. I'm not an English professor, or I didn't go to seminary, as I always say. What does a matriarchy look like in the Bible? Well, the little bit of studying that I did, we don't really have a good example of a matriarchy, but we do have strong biblical characters that we can reference out of the Bible for the females, such as Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, Deborah, Esther, and Ruth. We already touched on Ruth a little bit, but tonight I'm doing something a little different. So there's no matriarchies that are accounted for in the Bible. In the Bible that we have before us today. I'm not going to get into whether or not there's missing books. That's not Dusty Boaz removed the books. I haven't seen the books. I know that there's supposed to be these other books, but we're not getting into that today. We're just going to get into what we do have, what has been passed down for 2,000 years and translated and retranslated and retranslated. But I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time there because we got a lot of reading to do tonight. So I wasn't able to find a good representation of a matriarchy out of the Bible, but what I was able to find was the book of Judges, where we're going to be talking about Samson. Now, you know what? I'm not going to go into it. Like I said, I'm just reading the entire chapter in Judges, book 16. I'm going to read both versions. I'm going to do it a little fast so the video won't be long, but please try to keep up. If you're looking for the book of Judges, it is after, first of all, it's in the Old Testament, so it's toward the beginning of your Bible, and it is after the book of Joshua, but it's before the book of 1 Samuel, and you'll find Judges there. I'm in chapter 16, and the book reads as the following. Forgive me again for the sinuses. The New Message Version reads as the following. Let me get this light in here. Let me put a light on it. Beginning at chapter 16, the book of Judges, the New Message Version. Samson went to Gaza and saw a prostitute. He went to her The news got around, Samson's here. They gathered around in hiding, waiting all night for him at the city gate, quiet as mice, thinking, at sunrise, we will kill him. Samson was in the bed with the woman until midnight. Then he got up, seized the doors of the city gate and the two gateposts, bolts and all, hefted them on his shoulder, and carried them to the top of the hill that faces Hebron. Sometime later, he fell in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek, the valley of grapes. Her name was Delilah. The Philistine tyrants approached her and said, seduce him. Discover what's behind his great strength and how we can tie him up and humble him. Each man's company will give you 100 shekels of silver. So Delilah said to Samson, tell me, dear. Oh, baby, tell me your secret. I'm on verse 6. Tell me, dear, the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and humble. So she just came out and just straight up told him, what did it take to break you down? And verse 7, Samson told her, if they were to tie me up with 7 bowstrings, the kind made from fresh animal tendons and dried out, then I would become weak just like anyone else. The Philistine tyrants brought her 7 bowstrings, not dried out, and she tied him up with them. The men were waiting in ambush in her room. Then she said, the Philistines are on you, Samson. He snapped the cords as though they were mere threads. The secret of his strength was still a secret. Delilah said, come now, Samson, you're playing with me, making up stories. Be serious. Tell me how you can be tied up. He told her, if you were to tie me up tight with new ropes never used for work, then I would be helpless just like anybody else. So Delilah got some new ropes and tied them up. She said, the Philistines are on you, Samson. The men were hidden in the next room. He snapped the ropes from his arms like threads. Delilah said to Samson, you're still playing games with me, teasing me with lies. Tell me how you can be tied up. He said to her, if you wove the 7 braids of my hair into the fabric on the loom and drew it tight, then I would be as helpless as any other mortal. When she had him fast asleep, Delilah took 7 braids of his hair and wove them into the fabric on the loom and drew it tight. Then she said, the Philistines are on you, Samson. He woke up from his sleep, ripped loose from both the loom and fabric. She said, How can you say I love you when you won't even trust me? 3 times now you've toyed with me like a cat with a mouse, refusing to tell me the secret of your great strength. She kept at it all day, Proverbs 31, day after day, nagging and tormenting him. Finally, he was fed up. He couldn't take another minute of it. He spilled it. He told her, a razor has never touched my head. I've been God's Nazarite from conception. If I were shaved, my strength would leave me. I would be as helpless as any other mortal. When Delilah realized that he had told her his secret, she sent for the Philistine tyrants, telling them, come quickly. This time he's told me the truth. They came, bringing the bribe money. When she got him to sleep, his head on her lap, she mentioned to a man to cut off the 7 braids of his. Sorry, I got distracted there. She mentioned to the man to cut off the 7 braids of his hair. Immediately he began to grow weak. His strength drained from him. I'm on verse 20, by the way. Then she said, the Philistines are on you, Samson. He woke up thinking, I'll go out like always and shake free. He didn't realize that God had abandoned him. The Philistines grabbed him, gouged out his eyes, and took him down to Gaza. They shackled him in irons and put him to work of grinding in the prison, but his hair, though cut off, began to grow again. Verse 23. The Philistine tyrants got together to offer a great sacrifice to their god, Dragon. They celebrated, saying, "Oh, little g, God has given us Samson, our enemy." And when the people saw him, they joined in cheering their little g God. Our little g God has given our enemy to us, the one who ravished our country, piling high the corpses among us. Then this, verse 26, everyone was feeling high, and someone said, "Get Samson. Let him show us his stuff." They got Samson from the prison, and he put on a show for them. They had him standing between the pillars. Samson said to the young man, who was acting as his guide, "Put me where I can touch the pillars that hold up the temple so I can rest against them." The building was packed with men and women, including all the Philistine tyrants. And there were at least 3,000 in the stands watching Samson's performance. And Samson cried out to God, Big G, the Alpha and the Omega, the Creator, true God, Big G, Master God. "Oh, please look on me again. Oh, please give me strength yet once more. God, Big G, with one avenging blow, let me be avenged on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." They done took both of the brothers' eyes. Then Samson reached out on the 2 central pillars that held up the building and pushed against them, one with his right arm, the other with his left, saying, "Let me die with the Philistines." Samson pushed hard with all his might. The building crashed on the tyrants and all the people in it. He killed more people in his death than he killed in his life. His brothers and all his relatives went down to get his body. They carried him back and buried him in the tomb of Manoah, his father, between Zorah and Eshtaol. He judged Israel for 20 years. Wow. Do we have enough time to get into the New American Standard Version? Hopefully you're still with me. The New American Standard Version. Forgive me for the allergies. Let's get into it. Let's just jump right into it. And let's try to be expedient and respective of the time. Judges chapter 16, the New American Standard Version. It reads as the following. Now Samson went to Gaza and saw a prostitute there, and he had relations with her. Meaning he was knocking her down in 2023 terms. When it was reported to the Gazites saying Samson is coming here, they surrounded the place and lay in wait for him all night at the gate of the city, and they kept silent all night, saying, "Let's wait until the morning light, then we will kill him." Now Samson lay asleep until midnight, and at midnight he got up and took hold of the doors of the city gate and the 2 door posts and pulled them up along with the bars. Then he put them on his shoulder and carried them up to the top of the mountain, which is opposite of Hebron. After this, it came about that he was in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. So the governors of the Philistines came up to her and said to her, "Entice him and see where his great strength lies and how we can overpower him so that we may blind him to humble him. Then we will each give you 1,000 pieces of silver." So Delilah said to Samson, "Please tell me where your great strength lies and how you can be bound to humble you." And Samson said to her, "If they bind me with 7 fresh animal tendons that have not been dried, then I will become weak and be like any other man. Verse 8, then the governors of the Philistines brought up to her 7 fresh animal tendons that had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now she had men prepared for an ambush in her inner room. And she said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. But he tore the tendons like pieces, just like a thread of flax is torn apart when it becomes too close to the fire. So his strength was not discovered. Then Delilah said to Samson, behold, you have toyed with me and told me lies. Now please tell me how you may be bound. Then he said to her, if they bind me in tightly with new ropes which have not been used, and I will become weak like any other man. So Delilah took the ropes and bound them with them and said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. For the men in the ambush were waiting in an inner room, but he tore the ropes from his arms like threads. Verse 13, then Delilah said to Samson, until now you have toyed with me and you have told me lies. Tell me how you may be bound. And he said to her, if you weave the 7 locks of my hair with the web and fasten it with the pin, then I will be weak like any other man. So while he slept, Delilah wove the 7 locks of his hair with the web, and she fastened it with the pin and said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. But he woke up from his sleep and pulled out the pin of the loom and the web. Verse 15, then she said to him, how can you say I love you when your heart is not with me? You have toyed with me these 3 times and have not told me where your great strength is. Strength. And it came about when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him that his soul was annoyed to death. I need to read that again. Verse 16, and it came about when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him that his soul was annoyed to death. So he told her all that was in his heart and said to her, a razor has never come to my head, for I have been a Nazarite to God from my mother's womb. If I am shaved, then my strength will leave me and I will become weak and be like any other man. When Delilah saw that he had told her all that was in his heart, she sent word and called the governors of the Philistines, saying, come up once more, for he's told me all that it is in his heart. Then the governors of the Philistines came up to her, brought up the money in their hands, and she made him sleep on her knees. And he called for a man and had him shave off the seven locks. Shave off the 7 locks of his head. Then she began to humble him, and his strength left him. She said, verse 20, she said, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. He awoke from his deep sleep and said, I will go out at other times and shake myself free. But he did not know the Lord had departed from him. Then the Philistines seized him and gouged out his eyes, and they brought him down to Gaza and restrained him with bronze chains, and he became a grinder in the prison. However, the hair of his head began to grow again after it was shaved off. Now the governors of the Philistines assembled to offer a great sacrifice to Dragon, their little g, God, and celebrate, for they said, our little g has handed Samson, our enemy, over to us. When the people saw him, they praised their little g, for they said, our little g has handed our enemy over to us, even the destroyer of our country, who has killed many of us. It so happened when they were in high spirits, they said, call for Samson, that he may entertain us, that he may amuse us. So they called for Samson from the prison, and he entertained them, and they made him stand between the pillars. Samson said to the boy who was holding his hand, let me feel the pillars on which the house rests, so that I may lean against them. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the governors of the Philistines were there. And about 3,000 men and women were on the roof looking on while Samson was entertaining them. Then Samson called to the Lord and said, Lord God, big G, the Alpha and the Omega, the creator of everything, please remember me. Please and please strengthen me just this time, O God, that I may at once take vengeance on the Philistines for my two eyes. Then Samson grasped the two middle pillars which the house rested and braced himself against them, the one with his right hand and the other with his left. And Samson said, let me die with the Philistines. And he pushed outwards powerfully so that the house fell on the governors and all the people who were in it. And the dead whom he killed at his death were more than those whom he killed during his lifetime. This, then his brothers and all his father's household came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Ishtaol in the tomb of his father Manoah. So he had judged Israel for 20 years. That was a lot of reading. Brothers, don't give up your strength. Brothers, do not give up your strength. They will nag you. They will go nonstop. They will question you without cease to wear you down to get their ultimate desires out of you. Brothers, don't let anyone take your strength. Brothers, don't let anyone take your peace. Don't you know your peace is probably one of the most valuable things that you hold on this horizon? Don't let anyone take your peace. Don't let anyone take your strength. You know, all I got to say is Delilah must have been she had to have been a 9 or a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the baddest. What did he say? Kelly Rowland is a 9. Beyonce is an 8. There's no such thing as a 7. Clear. There's so much I want to say. He let the woman say, the Philistines are upon you 3 times and still entertain her questions. What did this woman look like? Now, Dusty Boaz Henry, you know, I can't judge. I can't judge, you know. Historically, you know, when I have been in a relationship with, you know, a female that is a certain caliber, I have submitted things that I should not have. And I'm not with those females because those females were out to take from me the one thing on this horizon that is important to Dusty Boaz Henry, my peace. So that being said, it didn't work out with these individuals. And as far as I know, these individuals are still single today. There's 2 in particular that I know for a fact are still single today. And is that Dusty Boaz Henry's fault? No, it's not my fault. Absolutely not. But what I would not allow is my peace and what was waking me up every day to go to work, earn a living, be able to provide for myself, and not be dependent on some woman to take me in and to help me with my rent, my bills, notes, whatever. I did not allow that individual to take that place of peace and motivation from me to where I couldn't get up on a daily and regular basis and do what I need to do as a man. Every time that the Philistines came jumping out of the inner room, if it was anything that I told Delilah, I would have been like, okay, where your boys at in the inner room? I'm going to be straight up. Sound like Samson was doing better with the prostitute. Uh-oh, I know I'm not supposed to say that. I know that one of the seminary super scholars is going to come at my throat for that one. You can't say that. You can't say that. But I'm just reading what's in here. Don't let these modern females of today take your peace or your strength. Hold strong. Hold strong to your faith. Hold strong to your peace. Hold strong to your relationship with the Almighty, the Alpha and the Omega, the one and only true God. Let him carry you through this life. Let him guide you through this life to where you don't have to run into Delilahs. You know, one of the topics that I researched when I couldn't find out anything about a matriarchy is, what happened to Delilah after Samson died? What happened to Delilah after she got her shekels, 1,000 shekels? How come you don't hear about it no more? The only thing that I will be bold enough to say to not distort the word is Delilah's only relevance was dependent on Samson's strength. And that's something you really need to think about. When the brothers are out here trying to please these new females that do not have the ability to be pleased no matter what you do, no matter what you represent, no matter what you bring to the proverbial table that they're not even able to identify, there's no appreciation, respect. There's nothing in place to acknowledge God has placed you on a pedestal, made your enemies your footstool, and I need to stand behind this blessed man. How much more would Delilah have made if she had never sold Samson down a river for the little shekels that she got and stayed behind him and let him do what he was doing? How can you say you love me and you tell me lies? Have you heard that one before? Has any woman threatened your integrity because you were trying to either protect her or protect yourself? Heaven forbid, protect your family. I know that I've been questioned. I have been questioned in the past for the way I move. But here's the thing. If the Bible doesn't speak about a matriarchy and a man submitting to a woman, why are we doing it in 2023? And I'm not going to say anything else about it. I'm not going to say anything else about it. I'm glad that Samson got his revenge. It looks like his hair grew back just enough to let him push down those pillars. And it's a shame. It's a shame. There's a woman, I'm going to say this. Where I get my hair braided, at the studio that I get my hair braided. Shout out to my braid lady. She does a fantabulous job, as you can see. Shout out to her and all the work and efforts that she puts into to my head. Thank you so much. Love you. There's a woman that used to frequent the shop whenever I would first start going there. She would always be either just getting out of the chair or just hanging out in there. This woman didn't even know my name. When are you going to cut your hair? Woman, you don't know why I have this hair. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't even know me. And you already trying to change me. You already nagging just from that one simple question. And I don't even know you. You think Dusty Boaz Henry is going to let her ask 3 times, like, how am I doing, videos or podcasts or being blessed by the Lord today? You think I'm gonna submit myself to that? Hit that like button, smash that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, turn that bell notification on. Thank you for working with me through my sinuses and me, wiping my nose through this video, but it had to get out. I'm probably going to come back to this and maybe break it down, but that's just something that was laid on my heart recently, and I just had to get out here and do a video. My intentions were to really do a video on the matriarchies in the Bible. But if you find a matriarchy in the Bible that we can reference, you let me know. Dusty Boaz Henry here. Boaz being the believer of the Alpha and the Omega, the one and only true God, the creator of everything. Henry being high earning, not rich yet. At least my hair ain't dusty. Thank you for watching. I'm out. Peace.